So now we are going to solve this problem. And this problem states that highlight the word at the instant. Okay. So what does the instant means? Okay. Instant means at this moment when you see the structure is at this orientation. You understand or you don't understand what I've just said? Or it's just a bunch of gibberish for now? You get it or no? Like, oh no, it's not good. He's a good student and he say no. At the instant, we are going to analyze the structure at this moment. At this moment, what? It's like you take a picture. When you take the picture, did anything move? No. At the instant show means at this orientation. So don't like, okay, what if this tilt by 22.2 degrees? No, it will not work. Only at this moment that you analyze the equations or we form equation, it will only work at this orientation. Are we clear? Okay, it will not work for any other orientation. Right. So what we know, if the shaft and plates rotate with an angular velocity of omega, is equal to 14 radians per second. So omega is rotating at 14 radians per second. And the angular velocity alpha is rotating at 7 radians per second squared. Okay. Determine the velocity and the acceleration of point D. All right, of point D, located on the corner of the plate at this instant. Again, they highlight at this what? Instant. Express the results in Cartesian form. Okay, so this is what. So we know by looking at the diagram, is rotating in what direction? Anti-clockwise, right? You're rotating anti-clockwise. So how about we deal with solving by this? Okay, now I want to do some I don't know whether Dr. Koshi has been through this or not, or maybe you did in your first year, but I want to point this out. Okay, let's do some side work to recall. Okay, so this is side work. Just I want you to recall. Now, if we have a vector, some of you will remember, some will not, but not to worry. Okay. If we have a vector over here, okay, and this vector corresponds to 8 kilonewton. Right? And then what we have is we have two components. Right? And then we have another component down here. So I will label this as X and Y. Okay. Now, down here, I'm given a dimension of 6 meters. And over here, I'm given a dimension of 10 meters. Okay. So we want to determine what is our y that is f. Seriously, Eugene? So we want to determine what is our fx and fy. There are two ways that you can do this, okay, one is we are going to use similar triangle. Okay. So we know if I'm going to call this O, and this is A, and this is B, we know the length AB will be equal to square root of what? 10 squared plus by 6 squared, and this will be equal to 11.662 meters. So from here, we can write Fx over 6 is equal to 8 times 10 power 3 divided by 11.662. So we know from here Fx is equal to 8 power 3 times by 11.662 divided by 8 power 3 times by 6 by 11.662 is equal to 4.116 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. You can do likewise for Fy. So Fy over a distance of 10, and this will be equal to 8 times 10 to the power 3 divided by what? 11.662. So you have Fy will be equal to what? 8 power 3 times 10 divided by 11.662 is equal to 6.860 times 10 to the power 3 Newton. Seen this before? Yes? Response? Have you seen this before? Yes or no? Have you applied this before? Yes, right? I mean, another way of doing it is you can use the angle method. So the angle method is we're going to call this angle equal to what? Theta. So you can use tangent theta will be equal to what? 10 divided by 6. And then theta (59.04 degrees). Okay, or I'll write better. Crappy writing, I'm sorry. So 59. So from here, when you want to find Fy, you use what? You use 8 times 10 to the power 3 sine 59.04 degrees. Okay, so this will be equal to sine 59.04 times by 8 power 3 is equal to 6,860. And then you have Fx is equal to 8 times 10 to the power 3 cos 59.04. So it's 4116. Okay, the answer is the what? The same. Are we clear? Okay, so we're going to apply the same thing to solve our problem over here. Okay, we're going to apply exactly the same concept. Okay, so let's look at the diagram. So we're going to solve this based on this orientation. Okay, at this moment. Okay, at this moment. So we know that omega is equal to what? Omega is equal to 14 radians per second. And this is along the axis. Our axis is AB. okay, along the axis AB. And we're also given that alpha is 7 radians per second along the axis of AB also. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is by looking at the transformation that they're giving to us, by looking at this transformation. So they call this X, Y, and this is what? Z. Okay. So if we were to draw our transformation, X will be our I, Y will be our J, Z will be our what? Okay, are we clear? You have to watch for the what? For the transformation is important. Okay, so everything is relative. So you always the case, I will be your X, J will be your Y, K will be your what? Z. Do not become creative. Okay, do not become what? Creative. And you know that omega is neither aligned to what? So omega is in the 3D space. It has an I component, it has a J component, and it has a what? A K component. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is we'll determine the position of 0.3 I. Okay, we're going to determine, hold on, let me check something first. Okay, so now we are going to determine position, okay, position of A relative to what? O. Okay, so this is position of A, and this is relative to O. Okay, so position of A relative to O is equal to what? So O, so position of A relative to O. So in terms of I, is equal to minus 0.3 I. In terms of Y or J is equal to 0.2 J. In terms of K is equal to 0.6 K. Okay. Are we good with this? You all can visualize. Okay. So next we are going to form an equation. Okay. And it's going to be based on a unit vector. Okay, it's going to be based on unit vector. So U, okay, is A or A relative to point O. So this will be equal to what? Minus 0.3 I plus by 0.2 J plus by 0.6 K. And this whole thing will be divided by the square root of minus 0.3 squared plus by 0.2 squared plus by 0.6 squared. So this will become minus 0.3 I plus by 0.2 J plus by 0.6 K, and the whole thing will be divided by 0.3 squared plus by 0.2 squared plus by 0.6 squared, the whole thing squared, 0.7. So this will be equal to what? 0.3 divided by 0.7, or we will just call it 3/7 minus 3/7 I